Good evening. I am making this video to address a couple of comments my viewers left on previous video about conductors. One of them was by David. He asked me, why do we need this? And actually, yeah, it's a good point. In this case, we don't really need to add the screens to collection, because when we are using on active conductor, it will be done automatically when we are activating an item. So when we activate item, the conductor will automatically add this item to items collection, and we don't need to do this manually. Thank you for pointing that out. Now that we got that out of the way, there was another comment by Vidchechnik. He asked, is it possible to have more active screens at the same time? Is that what all active is for? Yes. And I can actually talk about different types of conductors. There is actually 3 of them. The first one is one active, the second one is all active, and just conductor. The first thing we see is that this conductor doesn't have a items collection, so that means it tracks only a single active item that it has, while the one active has items collection, and one of the items in that collection is active. And we actually inspect that and see that. Another big difference is that when we activate an item, the previously active item gets deactivated and closed, while in one active conductor it works similar, but the previous item is only deactivated and not closed, and it still remains in the items collection also. Now let's talk about all active conductor. First, this conductor has items collection, so we can add multiple screens to it. However, it does not have active item property. That means the view that we used previously to display the active item will not work. For that, we need to specifically bind our control to a specific screen, or use items collection control and bind to items property of conductor. So we can do that in multiple ways. Let's do with binding to specific screen. For that we will need properties for login conductor view model and content conductor view model. I will generate them using IntelliSense. Here we go. We have 2 properties that we can bind our view to. Let's add them to stack panel so they don't stand on top of each other. Now, as it is now, we need to somehow activate these items, these screens, because they are in no way attached to conductor. You can do that by either adding them to items collection, and the conductor will activate all of them, as name suggests, all active, or we can activate them individually. Like this, or there's actually another way. By using this conduct with method, and we pass this. This is the shell view model conductor. So either of these ways. And the third way is items add range new screen. So all three of these ways to activate and these child screens are valid. I would prefer one of these, not this one. So let's, for example, use this one. Now the conductor will automatically activate all of its items. And let's take a look how the application looks. Oh, we have build problems. Oh yeah, so since we will have all the screens active at the same time, we do not need this. Alright, I have some breakpoints so we can actually inspect what's going on. So on activate shell view model is called. It will call base activate, and this base activate will call activate for each of the child items. Let's continue. As you see, login conductor view model on activate is invoked, and on activate is invoked for content conductor. Here we go. Now we have two screens and conductors on the screen at the same time. I hope that answers your question. If you have any more, please ask. No, there's actually one more way to use all active conductor is by binding to items collection. So for that we can use any control that has multiple items. For example, let's use tab control. Name. Using name we bind to items collection. Let's remove this. As you see, all the screens are activated. Now we have two tabs and we can navigate them, and everything is working in each tab.